Dear friend, let's discover more of who we are together. Love, Haley and Amanda.
Hey, dear friends.
Welcome back, everybody. We're so excited about this episode.
Oh my gosh, we have a guest today, Kaitlyn Coffee. Her Instagram is @HarrisVintage. She is really talented, but funny, and gave us a lot of great information.
Gosh. Free advice.
Oh, you're going to want to tune in and take some notes.
Because she's successful, but she's also like, she knows herself. She takes the time to do research. She's
Super
true to
thoughtful.
herself. And so her following that she has and the attention she's getting is because she is so authentic.
Yeah, she's drawing everyone to her. And she drew us in for sure.
No joke.
All right, let's do our pledge and jump into this because it's too good of a conversation. You ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United Mates in America, and rarely in public is where we stand, one friendship, under God, indivisible, live purdy, and just us for all, and Kaitlyn Coffee.
I can't believe we did that at the same time.
Also, I just want to say that, of course we did. I just want to say that also, we are always trying to stay aligned to that Young Pueblo quote that we think we've memorized. It's an honest and deep conversation with a good friend or a dear friend is sometimes the exact nourishment you need to regain clarity, get back up, and face the world with your new and focused energy. And it never fails, no matter what we talk about. And it happens again today on this episode that just having conversations with people that are willing to be vulnerable and true to themselves, we feel pumped and re-energized.
Can't wait for you two as well.
Kaitlyn.
Yes.
Coffee.
Okay,
That's
I
me.
did some research on you.
She did.
And I dug,
Okay.
and it wasn't too
Who's
hard. I dug, and I found your ex-boyfriend, Doug. I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
Don't talk about it. No, but on your
Is he here?
on your Instagram profile, it says that you really like the movie Moonstruck.
Oh my God. Yes.
Okay.
I actually just added that to my
You did?
profile.
Did you?
Like a week ago. So
Are you
it's funny
serious?
that you mention it.
Okay, but so this is how we're
Very
starting.
special to me. Yeah. No.
Because I had never seen it, so then I watched it this
Yay!
week.
See, that's why I put it because I want to connect with others that are fans or that haven't
That are
seen it.
moonstruck.
Yeah, so but
Yes.
so I've got to know
Okay.
because
ready.
also it was the first time I watched it. This movie came out many decades ago.
Yeah.
So it's Cher, Nicolas Cage,
Mhm.
and I
It was
want to.
nominated for Best Picture. It's the only rom-com that's ever been nominated for Best Picture.
And I looked up its rating. It's like 94% on Rotten
It's the
Tomatoes.
best movie.
Yeah.
Like-
Okay. Can you tell me what are you drawn to about this film? Like,
Okay.
why does it hit so pinnacle for you
That
that you're
you
putting
added
it in
it.
your
Yeah,
profile?
I
In the
know.
bio.
So, like we all have our comfort movies.
1000%.
I mean, do people know that? I do. So,
Yes.
I do.
100%.
Moonstruck. So I saw it for the first time and I was like fairly young.
Yeah.
So that's part of why it sticks with you.
Right.
Mhm.
But the thing about Moonstruck is, first of all, it's Nicolas Cage's like first movie,
Right.
and you're not accustomed to Nicolas Cage being like a romantic lead, and he
No.
100% is in this movie. Like, do you agree?
Yes.
Like, he's
Yes.
super hot in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know if it's like the weirdness of it, like
Yeah.
the hand getting cut off, and then like
There's some weird dialogue in
Yes,
it. Like
yeah.
it's not your typical rom-com.
and I love Cher. So I should start by saying,
Okay, yes.
So really, Nicolas Cage and Cher are like my two favorite actors and actresses. They're in a movie together. It's a romance. Like,
Yeah.
and then they're just the story of love and loss and everything like that is
Mhm.
intertwined in it. There's an opera
Yes.
scene, which I love opera.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of hits all of my
All your spots.
spots. Cher, Nicolas Cage, opera,
Mm-hmm.
Italian stuff,
Yeah.
Italian families.
Yes.
Italian
Her
stuff.
parents' house.
Yes.
I
I was
love
gonna
their
say I wondered
house.
if their aesthetic
Yes.
hit.
Yeah. I've tried to like find stills of the house to like post, but
Mm.
it's hard. I would
Yeah.
have to do it myself.
Screenshots.
I would have to like watch it on my phone,
Yeah.
but it's just the whole kind of vibe of it. And I've looked up the director's like other movies,
Yeah.
and he doesn't do other romantic comedies.
Right.
But it is fascinating that it's like the only romantic comedy to be nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I feel like there should be more.
yeah.
Like, think about all the movies that
Yeah.
we have at our fingertips, and
Yeah.
like it's the only one. I don't really
Wow.
know. I guess I just love Moonstruck.
Well, no, and it has an aesthetic to it, like her black hair.
Yeah.
There's something like with the celestial, focus on the moon, all of that. Like
Yes.
it's got a vibe.
And I have recently, like in the past like 3 or 4 years, discovered through Moonstruck that like movies made in like 87, which is like I was born in 88. Movies made like 87, 88, 89.
Yeah.
Late 80s movies is my like
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I love the furniture
Yeah.
in late 80s. Like I have a lot of it in my house. It's just kind of the like nonchalant coolness of that decade. Like no one's really
Yeah.
trying very hard, but they're like cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Not trying too
Did
hard.
you like the movie?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did. I felt like, how have I not seen this?
I know.
I felt pretty shocked because
Yeah.
it's a star-studded cast.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite shows is Frasier, and I love that Martin is in it,
Yeah.
the dad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had no idea he was in it.
I know.
And I was like, why wasn't he a movie star? He's
And
great.
the mom
is in Still Magnolias.
was nominated for Best Actress in that movie, and she won. And she passed away last
Are you serious?
last year.
Whoa.
She won. Yeah.
She won Best Actress in that movie.
Yes. I think her name's Olivia
Newton-John.
Olympia. No, I'm
That's
kidding.
what I was
No, her
gonna
name's
say.
Olympia. Her name is Olympia. I can't remember her last name right now, but
She's in
Steel
Still
Magnolias.
Magnolias.
Yeah. She's
She's
rest
great in
peace.
that movie.
I know. She won Best Actress.
Wow. I had no idea.
I know.
How would you not know?
Everyone, Moonstruck is streaming on Amazon Prime.
And it's on, I watched it on HBO Max.
Oh, okay, good.
So if
that's
you have
free.
HBO.
Yeah. I like bought it because like I couldn't find it anywhere, and I'm like, I can give you a couple other ones of that decade. Like
Yes, give them.
Heartburn is a favorite. It's also star-studded. Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson.
What?
Squeeze me?
87.
I've never heard of
yeah.
Heartburn.
Heartburn, and it's
Well,
a
I
Nora
get it
Ephron
quite a
book.
bit.
It's a Nora Ephron book, which, as we know, like
Y-
all the other like famous rom-coms of
Yeah.
our time. But Heartburn, I mean, When Harry Met Sally, obviously, but
Oh.
that's so
Everyone
the
knows that one.
you have to, if you watch
Yeah.
it, if you watch movies through the lens of like interiors and aesthetic. Oh, Baby Boom is another one with
Baby Boom
of
with
this-
Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton. That's a what's her name? Nancy
Nancy
Meyers
Meyers, yeah.
movie. So yeah, it's just kind of that whole time period is
It's yummy.
right now is my thing, big
Yeah.
time,
Mm.
but
Well,
close to my heart.
we're gonna jump into
Okay.
first your aesthetic
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
because, well,
But I want to hear about your story a little bit
Okay.
yeah.
too.
Okay, where do we start? Oh
I
man,
know.
oh man, you're
You tell
jumping
me.
ahead of me.
I know, but I want to hear about who she is.
Okay.
Let the listeners
Yeah.
tell.
Okay.
Give a little nutshell.
Okay. About me?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
are you from Dallas?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm from Dallas. I lived here until I went to college in Alabama.
Which my husband can't be friends with you because he's UGA all the way.
Okay.
Go
so my
Dogs.
dad went to Georgia, so
Okay, well then maybe y'all can.
yeah, and I love Georgia. I love to visit Athens. But yeah, so I went to Alabama, University of Alabama, then came directly back to Dallas and have been here ever since.
Mhm.
And I went to college for like advertising graphic design
Mhm.
and then did that for my job for
Right.
7 years. And then 2 years ago, right before the pandemic in January 2020, I quit my job
Mhm.
and I was on maternity leave and I quit and was like, I'm going to start my own company. I'm a graphic designer. I do branding.
Your stuff's
It's
gorgeous.
so
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, love it.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Well, and I have to say, for us, we talk about this a lot. We are aesthetically driven people, but we find it so difficult to
Oh
translate
my God.
things we love digitally.
yeah,
It's like we always, that's just our hardest connection, and you do it so
that's
well.
what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's
Like
your.
you're so
Thank you.
so good at it.
Thank you.
So
It
we'd
is
like
a
to set a
different sort
meeting
like
up.
you're a painter, like it's a different art form and
Yeah.
like it encompasses so much.
Right.
So and it's ever since I started my company. Well, I started bought my LLC March 15th, 2020, and then clearly shit
Oh my gosh.
shut down.
March 15th?
Yeah, I
Like
love
the
looking at
day?
the thing. Yeah, the day of the lockdown, the day before the lockdown. So I kind of delayed the opening of my business, but and it is kind of funny because nothing really opened. I mean, it's a digital business. It's
Right.
not
But
like I have a
still.
store, but yeah. So officially started July 1st, 2020, and it's been just leaps and bounds. Anything I could have imagined. So fun, best clients, best job ever. Love it. So happy.
Were you
The other
scared
part, no,
because of what was happening in the world? Were you like, oh
no,
man, I just went off on my own and now the world shut down?
no.
You never
And
had
and,
that.
and I'll tell you what, 95% of my clients are women,
Mm-hmm.
female owned businesses, small entrepreneurs, all women,
Yeah.
mostly women. And it's surprising how many businesses have started since COVID.
Yep.
Yeah.
People are
Taking risks.
taking risks
Mhm.
and finally going after those ideas that they've had in the back of their head.
Yep.
And
It seems like that for sure.
and
Yep.
I've been really lucky to be the one that's been able to bring their vision to life visually.
Yeah.
Um and I wasn't scared because I had been doing freelance like at night and on the weekends,
Yeah.
9 months pregnant, just working after work, but I loved it. And it was exciting. And I was like, okay, if I can do this successfully with these clients, I can do this for real. And my
Yeah.
husband was like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't scared. I'm rarely scared,
Yeah.
but
That's nice.
the whole Harris Vintage thing started almost 6 years ago.
Yeah.
After my first son was born, I was like, I collect all this stuff.
Yeah.
I have to start selling it because I'm gonna become a hoarder. And I watch hoarders a lot to I actually
Make
watched
sure
it
you're
last
not-
night
to
make
scare
sure I'm not-
yourself.
yes. And it helps me clean my house. It helps me just
That's smart.
because it's so funny. I really did. I bounce around a lot, sorry, but I
No, I
really
love
did
it.
watch an episode last night. And this woman, she's goes to thrift stores, she goes to rummage sales, is what they call them.
You're like, shit.
In Canada. Yeah, goes to and I'm like, okay,
This is too
I
close
have
to
I
home.
have a potential to end up like this. Keep watching so I don't. Nothing against, I mean, it is a disease, but
Yeah.
Nothing
I'm
Against,
really
but you
I
have a
have a
disease.
potential. So yeah, so anyways, I started selling vintage. I was like, I can do this easy. So I
Yeah.
started an Instagram, and that's kind of how it started. I was selling vintage exclusively on Harris Vintage, and then
Right.
slowly my life started getting a lot harder. I had another kid, I had a full-time job, I had but I was still buying all the stuff. So
You were a hoarder.
yeah, I was becoming, yeah. So
Got a disease.
I started selling a lot more, and then the Instagram sort of just grew into showing my house, my aesthetic, and other houses that I like.
Right.
Um,
It's
Which were
very
you-
beautiful.
Were you?
thank you.
Did you
Yeah.
have any idea or any motivation to grow that to have a following, or did it just naturally happen?
Naturally happened, and it's crazy because I never I mean, I do this for a living, tell clients what to do on social media sometimes if
Yeah.
they want that help,
Mhm.
but I never listened to any of the if you want to grow your following, do this, or I
Mhm.
never
Right.
used hashtags. I think I used hashtags at the beginning when I was trying to sell stuff because I was like, someone needs to find this stuff somehow.
Right.
I never really followed any of those grow your following rules.
Yeah.
It's if the people that like your stuff find your stuff, that's the right people are going to share it.
Right,
And then
right.
they'll tell your friend you're talking about just be yourself,
Yeah.
and the right people will kind of find you. I mean, I
Right.
know that sounds like people want concrete answers of how to grow their following and
Yeah.
all that shit. Am I allowed to cuss? on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that shit.
makes
but
us feel more
it's
comfortable.
it's sounds so corny, but it's true. It's if you're yourself, the right
Yep.
people will come and
Because
tell their other friends,
you're attracting someone to not yourself if you're not being
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
which is not what you
Yeah.
want.
And like the whole followers thing, like
Yeah.
when you get them the wrong way, like,
Yeah.
and I'm giving free advice here, y'all, so listen up.
Listen up, y'all.
Like when you do the giveaways or this and that, they're following you for the giveaway. They're not following you because they want to
Right.
continue to follow you.
Right.
So it's just when you have organic growth and organic followers, like they're gonna be there
Yeah.
forever. They're not gonna be like, "Oh, why the hell am I following?" Like, when we're all victim to it. Like you're scrolling, you're like, why is this person? Oh, I forgot I followed her 3 years ago for a
Yeah.
giveaway.
Yeah.
Unfollow.
Yeah.
Like that's just not how you do it.
Mhm.
What would you
Just be
say though
yourself.
that you were being really consistent with it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have like an obsessive personality. I have like extreme ADD. So like I'm constantly looking at things. I'm constantly absorbing uh design in any form. Like
Right.
whether it's like branding, uh interior design, I mean fashion kind of.
Yeah.
Like obviously I'm interested in it, but it's not my thing. Like
I don't know. You're pretty cute.
thank you. But it's not my obsession, I guess.
Yeah.
But it all kind of like
Filters
the things
out.
that I like that they like this kind of looks like my house. Like the
Yeah.
things that I wear are similar to the things I design and the things I like. Like, and I was telling someone this the other day. I can't remember who, but um like when I'm researching for a client for branding and I'm looking at like a storefront sign or something,
Mm-hmm.
or like
Mm.
a, a signage in Italy, which is something I'm working on right now, like those colors and those like textures combined
Yeah.
might show up in my house. So like the
Because
more you're
they're
looking at things
Mm.
and absorbing things, like I know not everyone has the same personality as me to be like obsessively consuming
Right.
beautiful things,
Mm-hmm.
but it helps to do it as much as you can because you'll never know when something
Yep.
you'll go to your little mind palace and be like, "Oh my god, I remember seeing that
Yeah. This combination.
drapery." Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that color combo, like a lot of people talk about my like color combos.
Yeah.
That's really why. It's like because when you are researching and absorbing, you're like helping yourself, your future self.
Right.
Right.
Kind of like how people are like, if you work out today, like your future self will thank you. Like if you
Yeah.
read a book today or look at a book today, your future self will thank you. Like
Yeah. You're putting it in your little
just
memory bank.
Well, and I
yeah,
always
yeah.
say, like, because sometimes people are like, oh, that painting just came out so fast.
It
And
didn't.
then
Yeah, it's
I don't even really realize, but it's because I actually feel a lot of times like it feels kind of like pregnancy because
Mhm.
it's, and I've never been pregnant, but
So she knows what she's
yeah.
talking about.
but it's like you don't realize what you're saying, what has been stored back
right.
there and for
Absorbed.
what and stored, and then
Mhm.
like it just starts to like marinate
Mhm.
and then it explodes and it looks like maybe even when you make a design,
Mhm.
that boom, I just came up with this. It happened so fast for this
Yeah.
client, but like you are a log of
That's
Yes.
design.
I saw something recently. It's like you're not paying me for the 30 minutes it takes. You're
Right.
paying me for like the 15 years. And I know people say that
Yep.
all the time, but like
But that's true.
it's
So true.
it's like, and I always make this reference to like a plumber or like an engineer, for example. Like just I don't know how to build a shelf, but and I'm not going to tell him how to do it because or I'm not going to tell a plumber how to fix a pipe because I have no clue what he's talking about.
Right.
He's an expert. And
Yeah.
like when I work with clients, I've had very rarely had bad clients like in
Right.
branding, but when they try to like do my work for me, it's like okay, it's going to look like someone who doesn't know what they're talking about is doing it because
'Cause
you're
you're the one.
doing it. Like
Yeah.
and you would never go to a plumber and be like, "I don't think you should do it like that."
Yeah.
No.
Because like you don't know what you're talking about and he does. You hired a plumber.
Right.
You hired a graphic designer. Why am I talking? We kind of got off track, but
That's
No,
okay.
I like
exactly
it.
what you're saying. Like you have all of this stored information about like color technique or however you paint. Um, and like people should trust you for that. And it's
Yeah.
I just encourage people to absorb as much information as they can. Because it's like, why not?
Seriously.
And it really is like mentally, if you're absorbing like violence or
Oh my
like
gosh.
bad
We
stuff,
talk about this.
like if
Yeah.
you're absorbing bad stuff, you're gonna put out bad stuff.
That's right.
Right.
So like absorb beauty and good stuff, and
Yep.
like hopefully that resonates in your life.
1000% agree.
Yeah.
And I think people just think, oh no, I'm just consuming entertainment. And it's like, no, you're consuming something that's going to
Energy.
somehow release in you
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I was listening to Dateline on the way here, but I mean, that's kind of my
It's gonna come out.
alter ego. Like, yeah, like
See where this conversation goes.
might
yeah,
have a
but like
nightmare.
listening to that kind of stuff doesn't affect me. It does. If I do it too much, I'm like,
Right.
okay, wait, take a step back, Kaitlyn. Like, maybe you should be listening to Oprah's Super Soul Conversations or like this podcast, you know? Like, and I do like check myself sometimes. I'm like, I should probably be listening to something a little more,
Yeah.
Life giving.
yeah, life giving.
Beautiful.
And because when I do, I always feel better,
Yeah.
you know? But when you get in that kind of like hole, you forget, like, okay, you need to not listen to Dateline all the time. It's affecting you, whether you know it or not.
Well, one thing about you that I really love, like something that I'm really drawn to about what you do and how you do it, is this has been a conversation that Haley and I have said many times as best friends.
Mhm.
It's like so I know you don't know us really
Mhm.
because we're just meeting. I'm a floral designer. I have my own company and I also do interior
Okay,
work.
cool.
And Haley's a painter. So we are very aesthetically driven
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
And so whenever we've talked about our homes and things like that, we get so frustrated when we've shopped for homes
Mhm.
because people go into these beautiful spaces and they act like they're architects or designers and they rip out existing things and they put in gray floors
Mm,
and weird tiles and you're like, what the hell are you doing? And then you're paying
yeah, for
for
their
the
mistakes.
upgrade
Yeah.
that you would want to rip out because it's
Mhm.
hideous.
Yeah.
And something
It's a
that you did,
disease
it's a problem and it's
epidemic.
taking over.
Mhm.
Yes. But you found an untouched house in Dallas.
Yeah.
And you really took the beauty that was existing, the history, and
Mhm.
just emphasized it and
Yeah.
kind of made it your own. I want to hear about this
Okay.
even more. Like, I
Yes.
want you to dive into this because it's something we talk about a lot
Yeah.
personally. And I think it's
There
such
is
a
a
cool
way.
thing.
Yeah.
There is a
So
way.
I think
How do you find those houses?
well, so we got really lucky. I
Yeah.
mean, we really did because we saw, and I think I talked about this somewhere else, but like we toured 4 or 5 houses, and coming from Oak Cliff, where we lived in Keystwood, which
Mhm.
is like
Yeah.
further down that way. Lots of mid-century untouched homes, like
Mhm.
amazing. But so we were looking in Lake Highlands, and like my soul was like being crushed. But we were like, I kind of resigned myself. I was like, I think we can make it cool, but like they were very
Yeah.
90s and very just not great. And they'd
Yeah.
had all that stuff done that you're talking about, and
Mm.
you're paying the price for that, which I was like, no.
No.
And so I told Nate, my husband, I was like, I want to wait. I want to wait. I want to wait for an untouched house with this and this. And he was like, okay. And then the next morning,
What?
he was on the little site, whatever it is, and he was like, I think I found it. And it was, this house that we live in now. Which what I mean by we got really lucky, and like somehow we ended up getting the house in this market. But anyways, so the way that you have to think about it is like, first of all, if it's a house that's built in the mid-century or built in the 80s or built whenever, try to honor that decade.
Yeah.
Or find what you like about the houses that you weren't able to get.
Mhm.
Like I always wanted to live on Kings Highway, which is like super like craftsman, like New
Mhm.
Orleans style houses but not everyone can live there. So like instead of going in and redoing your house to look like it's built in 2022, why
Mhm.
did I say it like that? 2022, go in and build it how you want to honor like the year the house was built, or how there's things you can do, like for instance we put in all terracotta tile flooring.
Mm.
I spent a lot of time again researching what did houses that were built in 1963 actually look like?
Yeah.
Which is our house was built in 1963. And there's lots of terracotta flooring, there's lots of cork flooring, which is what our house originally had, but it was so damaged we had to rip it out, unfortunately,
Mm.
which happens a lot. And people ask me that question, are tiles damaged? We have to rip it out. Like, go to a salvage yard or go on
Yep.
eBay and find tile, vintage tile, or just colored tile. Like, you don't have to, just tile that's commonly found in homes from the 60s
Yeah.
or homes from the 30s or homes from, like, because the builders back then, they did that for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And listen, we're modern people, we have modern taste,
Right.
which is why, like, my bathroom in our current house was like a giant jacuzzi, didn't have a shower.
Yeah.
So, like, these are problems that people run into, and like, you can't avoid them. You have to talk about them.
Right.
So, like, we did have to end up ripping out some of the bathroom and reconfiguring it, but we kept to that, honored
you
the
honored it.
tile, honored the colors, honored the whole deal.
Right. Just
And
made it more functional for today.
yes, and like, often you find everyone's like, look at this disgusting carpet in this house. Okay, great. We're not telling you to keep the carpet from this lady that's lived there for 80 years,
Right.
but rip it out and we put in maroon carpet,
I
right?
noticed that, and I just
Because we saw a ton of it in my research of
Mhm.
these old houses, the mix of like terracotta tile with the maroon carpet.
and your
I would
house
see
doesn't look
this.
dated.
No,
And I think people who are
ask, yeah,
listening, like a maroon carpet, but it's not
yeah,
dated looking. It looks nice.
yes,
Like it.
because when you say dated, okay, yes, if you keep a carpet that's 30 years old,
Right.
it's gonna look
Right.
dated and honestly like disgusting.
Disgusting.
But like, you don't have to put in a gray carpet. And I've talked to tons of people, not tons, but a handful of people that regret putting in their generic gray carpeting
Right.
or their generic gray flooring.
Yeah, it's
Gray.
horrible.
Gray. Okay, so like,
Gray.
first of all, wood doesn't come in gray.
No.
So stick to naturally occurring, colors of wood, or it's just like, honor the wood, honor the materials, honor the decade.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say.
Yeah. Well, and because we were talking about how even it individually, if we're shopping for furniture, like you won't find me actually at like CB2 or
Mhm.
West Elm because it's not real wood
Mm-mm.
and you're paying a lot of money. And so I'm constantly looking secondhand or antique or vintage because it's solid
It's
wood.
so much better made. Like,
It will last.
yeah.
It feels and looks so much better in a room.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like the same thing when these people go into these homes and remodel them. Those gray floors are shit. They're not
Terrible.
real wood.
They're going to be,
You're
and
not gonna.
another thing that I want to comment on is the price of, so in this day and age, if we're going to buy, like you said, like a table or whatever, a dresser from CB2, or from like a really high-end custom furniture maker,
Yeah.
it's going to be like the best materials, the best wood. It's going to last you, it's an heirloom piece, last you the rest of your life. Great. It costs $15,000.
Right.
Okay. No one that I know can afford high quality furniture that's made in 2022.
Right.
I wish I could.
Right.
But I can afford secondhand high quality furniture that
Right.
was made in the 60s, in America,
Mhm.
or not. But there's lots of well-made furniture that's going to last you and do you a better service
Yeah.
than if you bought it at CB2
Right.
and it looks the same,
Right.
Like,
I think better.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really does. And like, the only thing that people don't like about that is they have to wait for it. We
Yeah.
live in a
Yep.
I want it now society, and
Well,
they
and
don't.
digging and searching, which is your speciality.
Yeah.
Like your hashtag Goodwill Hunting.
That's
Yeah.
the movie I watched from.
Oh,
yeah. I watched
Another- You
watched
Moonstruck
Moonstruck,
and she watched Goodwill
yeah.
Hunting.
That came into my head like a year ago when I was like, a lot of random things popped in my head, but I was like, oh my God, Goodwill Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting.
It's ridiculous.
Goodwill Hunting.
You did it.
And
you
like,
did it.
I like,
You've
so
nailed the
Kaitlyn,
pun.
you did it.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Someone did end up seeing it on a meme account like a couple weeks after I said it, and I was like, I should have like made a meme. I don't know how to do that, but yeah, like, it's just, so people will always be like, will you help me with my house? And I've never said yes, and people think I'm an interior designer. I'm not.
You kind of seem like you
I
are.
Yeah.
like I would call myself like a stylist or a decorator,
Yeah.
but um the thing about like I want to hire you to do my house. Okay, it's going to take a long
15
time.
years
It's going
for
to take a
me
really
to
long time.
curate.
Because it's like all curated, and like I say that, I mean, I could do it, but it's like I- it's me. My
Yeah.
home represents me.
Yeah.
And like when I look at pictures of my house, I'm like, I remember where everything's from. I remember the thrift store that
Yeah.
it's from. I remember, who gave it to me. It's like, and other people can do that.
Right.
It's just, are you willing to take the time and like spend the time like learning and researching?
Right.
I hope you are, because it really does.
It's worth it.
It's worth it to have a collected and like lived in feeling of a home. And I've only lived at this house for 6 months, I think, maybe 8.
So
Everything
pretty.
you're saying, it's reminding me of because she introduced me to Beata Human,
Yeah.
not in
Yeah.
Which
person.
she follows you.
Yes.
Can you believe?
Do you want to scream about
She's
that?
followed me for a while, like, and I can't remember why, but yeah, I mean, she says it so well too. Like, if these are the things you're looking at constantly,
Yeah.
your home, and if you've ever been outplaced from your house and had to stay somewhere else, you have that icky feeling of like, these aren't my things, this isn't
Yeah.
my space.
Mm-hmm.
And I just constantly think like there's some people out there that live in a house that they might have that feeling and they don't know. Like
Right.
they don't know, honestly,
Yeah.
because some people don't care about aesthetics, but
Right.
and
That
that's totally
feeling.
fine. They probably care more about something else that I don't care about.
Right.
But it really is, I encourage people to care, because it's your surroundings
And they
affect
make you
your
feel.
mental health.
Yes.
Yeah, like
They really
are
do.
you looking at, I don't want to say where I was last summer, but I had to live somewhere for like 4 months while our house was getting redone.
Yeah.
And the aesthetics were so opposite of mine. And listen, everyone, the person who lives there, they like it.
Right.
Okay. That makes them feel cozy and happy. And they hate my house. Okay. Everyone's different. Find what you like. And really, it's like a personal journey
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
Well, and
that
in
you
her
have to
book,
take.
Every Room Should Sing,
Mhm.
that's what she's saying. Like,
Mhm.
it should reflect you. Your
Mhm.
space should reflect you, and it should have
Yeah.
some of that quirky that is really identified with yourself.
Mhm.
And I think so many
Some
people
bad
do like,
taste.
well, we've been really open on this because we did a whole episode, 2 episodes about her and what she
Oh,
said.
cool.
But it's kind of like people with like the Studio McGee and
Mhm. They're
the
letting other people think for them.
and
They're
it's this
just buying.
general, yeah, and it's very it's decorated, but it's so neutral that it's not a reflection of you as an individual.
Mhm.
Because individuals aren't neutral.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
and there's another thing about that, like, company you just said. Like, they used to, and this has happened with a lot of these big
That's right.
name designers. They start by finding the vintage finds, finding the thing, and then someone taps into them. Oh, we want to make that. We want to consumerize that and like make a Target line for you. And
Right.
like now it's mass produced, and like everything that they've been harping on for years. Amber Interiors did the same
Yes.
thing. She would
Yes.
shit on big box companies, and like now she's a big box company. She's in
Sellout.
anthropology, she's in whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do
I'm
sell
sure.
out, but it's capitalism. Like
Right.
that's what fuels most people in this country. And like they're women, and I don't want to bash them for making their bag, but like it's hard because every single person now has the same house.
Yep.
And like you said, people aren't neutral. Like the other thing about those homes, like, or if you have an interior designer come in and set everything out perfectly on their shelves and have everything, if you go back to that house 4 years from now, it's all in the same place. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wait,
No
are you still
interaction.
like, yeah, you're not interacting with your things? Like,
Yeah.
did you not find something on a travel or like on a trip or online or in a thrift store that you fell in love with and wanted to put on your shelf?
Right.
Did your son not like make a little sculpture at school and you put it on your shelf? Like, how are you not interacting with your stuff?
It's not a reflection. Yeah.
Because they don't want to think about it, and that's fine. Like, there's people like that don't want to have to think about their stuff because they have other things to worry about.
Right.
But just try to take time to think about, like, am I buying this because it's in Target and I like it and someone's telling me that this is what you like this season? Or am I buying it because it really does speak to me? And if
Right.
something at Target in the blank and blank line speaks to you, great.
Yeah,
I
get it.
guarantee you're going to donate it in a year. However, get it.
You'll like it for the year.
Get it, and then buy the next thing that's on the shelf. Like,
Right.
and trust me, I used to do that. Like, I used to go to Target, in college or whenever it was, and be like, oh, look at this cute thing.
Yeah.
But when I started like cognitively thinking about it, I donated it 2 years later.
Right.
And like the things I have now that I've collected, I ain't donating anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I
She's
would
gonna
sell
hoard
it.
her.
I would sell it for a lot of money because it's so special to me. But like, you can't take anything from me
Right.
because I love it.
You can't take
Yeah, you
anything.
can't take
I
anything.
love it.
Well, and I think that this is the cool part with what you do with Goodwill Hunting
Mhm.
and the vintage finds and stuff. For me, like I love vintage shopping with clothes and belongings,
Mhm.
but there is some sort of satisfaction when you find a unique piece.
Yeah.
Like I just was at I'm not even going to say the shop because I don't want people to know about it. But I was at this shop and I found this
I know it.
vintage jacket that was like a
Tuxedo.
tuxedo
Oh
with
my God.
tails.
Whoa.
But it like
cool.
fit and it was so and I that feeling you get when you
Mhm.
put it on and you're like,
You were meant to have it.
what? This fits
Yeah.
me perfect. This was made in blah 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 year. This is like I'm finding it in this moment.
Yeah.
No one else has this.
Yeah.
About to give it a new life.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
how can I wear this? How can I style it? And it's just that feeling of like, oh my God, this moment's for me.
And how can I make it? Yeah, like because some man or woman used to wear that jacket in
Right.
the 40s and like they had their own like adventures in life in it and like you're taking it and making it your own and like
Yeah.
it's so exciting like
It is.
It's a great feeling.
and it's in a totally different environment
Right.
and it's giving life to things instead of just throwing them away.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a
And that's
problem.
yes, it's a huge problem. And that's what well-made things are. And someone, I encourage people to thrift and like thrift their clothes and everything. We can't thrift everything. We can, but
We can.
and someone messaged me like, I I need to thrift, but I do buy like higher end, like bespoke made, like really, really well-made pieces.
Mhm.
And I was like, if you can afford to do that, that's even better. I mean, not
Yeah.
even better, but that's admirable as well.
Right.
Like, because you're not gonna rebuy things
Mhm.
And there's
because
craftsmanship in it.
And you're supporting someone
and
now, an
yeah,
artist now.
an artist now. And like when you spend that money on something that's like super well made, like a jacket, like a trench coat, I'm thinking about. Like
Specifically.
you're gonna I'm like just I always think like about that. Like $600, $700 jacket. I do not own this. I'm talking about people who do. They're not gonna give it
Keep-
away in a year because they spent a ton
It's
of
an
money on a
investment.
well-made piece. When you do that for furniture as well, or like
Yeah.
items that are well made, you're not gonna get rid of them because but when you have that throwaway trash stuff, like that I used to buy as well, Forever
Yeah.
21, like because you think that's all you can afford. You
Yeah.
can
And then
afford
it
thrift
disintegrates
stores.
in the sun.
Yeah, like yeah,
I'm not kidding.
like you're gonna get rid of it. Like, do you have anything you bought from Forever 21 12
No.
years ago? No. Does my mom still have her trench coat from 30 years ago? Yes. Like
Right.
you have to think about your house in the same way.
Right.
I'm getting so worked up. I'm like putting my hair up. I forgot I'm on camera. But yeah, like that's just you have to think about it in a cognitive, like really specific way,
Yeah.
or else you're just buying to buy.
Well, and something that is a recurring theme on this podcast, it's seriously like every conversation, it
Yep.
really comes down
wild.
to your intentions and being
Intentional.
aware
That's what I mean
of
to
your
say. Yeah.
intentions.
Mhm.
Like, and we're talking about clothes and decorating your home. And some people might think that that's frivolous, but it isn't. Like
Mm-mm.
it's so much deeper than that. Like we're
Well,
saying, it affects your mental health. Your
It does.
surroundings play into so many parts of
Everything.
who you are. And if you are just consuming to consume and you're letting other people influence what you like, then you're not being a player in your own life.
No.
You know what I
Good
mean?
way to put it.
Well, and
Really
that's
good way to
like
put it.
it can be frivolous. It
Yeah.
is frivolous.
Yeah, it
if
can
you
be.
if you treat it that way,
Mhm.
but even the things that like stereotypically maybe seem frivolous, they don't have to be when you do that work. Make sure you're aligning with things.
Mhm.
Then every single thing, even the trinket on your shelf, is not frivolous.
Mm-mm.
Like it's like because of that thoughtfulness, you snip everything that is frivolous out.
Yeah.
Like everything should have intention. Where you go to eat dinner, like
Mhm.
I mean, and I'm not saying like you need to be like in your head all the time, but like what? Why
Is
not?
this serving me in a positive
Right,
way?
right.
Like, and I just had a thought when you were talking, like that Marie Kondo show, like
Mhm.
so amazing. But like when she says, "Does this spark joy?"
Mhm.
and like a lot of the people on the show are like, "No," and I'm like, because it's a like
Yeah.
so like if you go into your consumerism and you're buying, like, does this spark joy or did I see an influencer buy it on
Yeah.
Instagram and I'm buying it?
1000%.
Right. Like that sparked joy for that girl, but she's also getting paid if you buy it.
Yeah.
So
That's why it really sparks joy.
you buying it's going to spark joy for sure
Spark her
because
joy.
she's getting paid for it, which
Right.
again, I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
I want everyone to get paid. I love
I want
that.
people to get
Love
paid.
that.
Yeah. And like however you make your money is fine, but like I'm talking about the people who are watching the people.
Right.
You need to really take time and be like, is this capitalism or do I like it?
Yeah.
That should be my new hashtag. Do
Is
I
this
like this or
capitalism?
is capitalism? Like,
Capitalism or I like it.
yeah, because it's hard. And then the line is really, really blurring a lot more
Yes.
than I ever even thought it could. Like,
Especially with social media.
yeah,
You
it's
you feel
bad.
like I feel like these ads and all these things get me because
Oh, they get me.
hit me over and over and over, and you're
They
just
wear you down.
yeah,
They really
they
do.
because you're like and then you're like
I know.
oh my god, why
And
do they
that's
keep sending
brain
this to me?
chemistry. Like they do that on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, advertising, like I've
Mhm.
learned how to do it. Like I
Oh,
know
God.
what they're doing and I still fall victim to it. Like
Right.
because remember like people used to always talk about subliminal advertising or like subliminal
Yes.
messages. Like
Oh God.
we live in a subliminal world now. Like
Yeah.
it's literally, and we let it happen
Right.
and we don't care because it's like we don't think about anything unless we're on our phone. Like
So what
I'm
do
the same
you
way. It's
do
not.
to make sure that you like stay aligned to yourself and what you care about and
Yeah.
what is your style and your aesthetic
Mhm.
and what matters to you because it's difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, trust me. And that's a really, really good question.
Mhm.
Well, and
I
it
honestly
turns out we ask that
sorry.
to we ask that to almost everyone because it doesn't matter what you're talking about,
Mhm.
whether it's design or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we're all just like beat down by so many different influences, and it takes work
It
to
To
make
stay in your
sure.
lane.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, like I've um I really I don't work on it as much as it would seem
Mhm.
because I've kind of always been this way. Like I've kind of always had this like annoying thing of like I don't want to be like anyone else. Like
Yeah.
um it is like an active thing. Like I um ever since I was little, like, oh, if you have that, I'm not gonna have it, you know?
Mhm.
Or if you think I'm gonna like that, I'm not gonna like it. Like I went as far as to like I've never told anyone this. I
Can't
probably
wait.
shouldn't.
Yay.
I went as far as to like what people expected my wedding dress to look like. I didn't do that. I did the complete opposite because I wanted to be, and that's so freaking so
No, it isn't.
ridiculous. But I did do that. So it's like it is like an
Think I'm
active
gonna
thing, but
zig?
it is
I'm gonna zag.
yeah. And so I would just say like first of all, like again, do your research, like get angry about things. Like that's really kind of what kind of
Get
like drives
angry.
me is that I'm like, this society and this world is like really, you know, it's so I can't believe this is recorded. Like it's dangerous. Consumerism in the sense of where we are right now is
Yes,
dangerous for the
100%.
world, for our mental health,
Environment.
for the environment. Like, yeah, it's like so you have to just again be intentional and like I shop a lot, but that's why I thrift because I have like a shopping. I have like when I'm sad, I like to shop, so I go
Yeah.
to the thrift store
Yeah.
instead of like just
Target.
going on like yeah like whatever those sites are that you know like fill your cart and then like check out. It's like okay, but like what are you doing? And I
Yeah.
used to do like I keep saying like I used to do that,
Yeah.
but like you have to wake up, and that sounds so like that's like such a buzzword these days, like wake up, people. But it's
Wake
like
up, America.
You're woke.
yeah, God, I'm not, but I'm like
You're trying.
you have to be intentional
You're
because
sleepy.
She's sleepy.
people really and when I say get angry, like I like if you are some CEO authority that works at Target and you're telling me to buy something, not to bash on Target all the time, like every fucking company, Wayfair, every company in the world that's not a small business. Like there's a man somewhere, no offense, there's an old man or woman that's been a CEO for years and like they are like, so what are we going to get these people to buy this year? And I've been in these rooms, right? Like
Yeah.
I've been in these rooms. Don't let them tell you what to buy
Right.
because they are you're buying their yacht, okay?
Yeah.
Your consumerism is buying their second, third home in Aspen, okay? So
Yeah.
do it for someone else. Do it for
Right.
yourself. Do it for
Mm.
just slow down and like think about what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you're just like mindlessly doing something,
Yep.
you're helping someone else out, I'll tell you that. And you're
This
not helping yourself
invisible-
out.
It's weird. It's like this invisible force out there.
Yes.
And so it does
And you
make
have to
sense that
think
you're
of it-
saying wake up.
You have to think of it as not a force. You have to think of it as like these people are I'm like
Are real.
these people are real. Like there is a whole room of CEOs and CMOs and CFOs sitting there and
Yeah.
they're real and they want you to keep buying
Yeah.
and they don't give a shit
Right.
about you
Or the
or your
environment.
neighbor or their environment. They'll say they do to save face, but don't you want to be around people who like care? Like
Yeah.
like this person like made a plate and like painted it themselves
Yeah.
and like you get to buy it. Don't you want that to be your dinnerware instead of
I do.
like and you know what's the worst fucking thing that really pissed me off a couple years ago? I don't want to say any names, but a very famous actress came out with a uh, furniture and like dinnerware line at Walmart.
Mm.
And I love this actress. Like she's part of our childhood. And she came out with this huge collection at Walmart and called it, and like the descriptions on the plate were like vintage plate, vintage
No.
tablecloth, vintage, and it didn't say like vintage style plate. It
Yeah,
said vintage.
vintage.
And like, I'm sorry to say, but there's people out there that probably think it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and like they did that intentionally.
Right.
Right.
They are
Mm.
like serving to the people that are like don't take the time to like research and figure out.
Right.
And
But
it's not
playing
fair
in-
to those people that got tricked. Like
No.
'Cause
not
they were
everyone's
probably
like us.
trying to get something more unique
And yes,
and affordable.
yeah, and they don't have access to the algorithm's not the algorithm is not showing them people like me or people like you. It's showing them what they're interacting with, and like
Right.
they probably don't know that like you can get nice ass vintage stuff and not go to Walmart.
Well, and it is really crazy how the algorithms make our world so much smaller than we realize.
Oh.
Because what you're saying, like what you're interacting with, it's keeping you in that little cycle
Mhm.
and you are not being exposed. So where, you don't even know what you're missing. Because
Exactly.
your world is so much
Yes.
smaller than it was before these algorithms.
And I don't even know if there's a way to get out. Like honestly,
No.
like for people that we're talking about, like because the more you interact with things, the more you're shown them. So what
Right.
if you the more times you're not interacting with that small business or like handmade plate, it's gonna go away. They're
Yeah.
gonna stop showing it to you.
Right.
So like I don't really know the answer.
Yeah.
I don't really know the answer. Capitalism is bad.
Signing off.
And this episode is called Capitalism is
We're
Bad.
screwed and we can't do anything about it.
You're stuck.
But in your social media realm, your
Mhm.
reach, because you do reach quite a few people, you have a really great following. What do you get the most? And I'm talking, I guess, specifically about like Harris Vintage.
Yeah.
What do you get the most, I guess, inquiries or questions about?
Mhm.
Like, I'm just curious.
Gosh, I get tons of questions. The most frequent question I get is like, where are you? Where are you shopping?
Yeah, because
I-
you get these great finds
Yeah.
and you're all over, and people are like, how are you finding these
Yes.
estate sales? How are you
Yes.
finding all this?
And so I do have a answer for all those people. I did a kind of walk through to all my favorite places with D Home, and it's gonna be coming out soon. So like,
hey,
instead of just like answering every text or DM I get, that's gonna be all out there. But really, the question I get the most often is like, besides where are you, is like, it's a lot of questions about like rugs and placement of couches and
Mm.
placement of furniture.
yeah,
And I have a quick, easy answer for all of that. And like this room did it really well that we're in right now. But like people don't realize that like the size of your rug, because again, at big box store name, the rugs are all like 8x10.
right.
Like they rarely get bigger
Bigger.
than that. So people don't think that there's bigger rugs than that.
Mhm.
But your room, depending on the size of it, like an 8x10 would probably work in here, but it's like your rug, all your furniture needs to be touching your rug. So if it's just, because I see people that like have great taste and they don't know, why would they know? But like their rug will be a really tiny rug and then the furniture surrounding it.
Yep.
And it makes the room look really small.
And the proportions.
The proportions are off and like it just doesn't work. So, and also I get a lot of things about pillows, throw pillows, because I did like a huge rant on throw pillows. And people ask me or send me pictures of throw pillows or tell me that they've thrown out all their throw pillows. And I'm like, you didn't have to do that, but like, thank you for showing me. What is another question I get? Like, should I buy this? People will send me things.
Oh, they want your input.
This remind me of
Oh.
you. Or I love when people do this. They like saw this and it screamed your home. And like someone did this recently and I was like, buy it. It's $7 at a thrift store and they're shipping it to me.
Oh
So
my gosh.
keep that up, guys, because I'm like, they're like, oh, this like screams Harris Vintage. And I'm like, thank you.
I need it.
Because I really am obsessed with that. And thank you for knowing me. I don't know how
That's
like,
nice to be known.
yeah. Like that's a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Personally in life. Like, because I've been given gifts and I'm like, do you really think I like, you don't know me at all. Like, you really think I like this? Or like, what? Like, so
we
when people
recently
send me,
talked about that too.
really?
Yes.
Oh, people
Don't you,
give
doesn't
you
that
gifts.
suck?
It's the
Yeah,
worst.
and you don't know
then
what
you're
to
like, now I
say.
have this and I don't want it. And
You know
don't
what?
you know me?
Recently at one Christmas, like I think it was last year, someone gave me something that I literally was like, in what life would I ever like this? And I immediately donated it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it in my space. That's a little drastic.
Yeah,
But I was
it
like,
isn't.
it's going to remind me that this person who is supposed to know me a lot doesn't. And that makes me really sad. So I'm going to donate it.
Right.
Because I'm constantly going to be reminded. Because I used to keep this stuff around. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
so when people send me stuff and they're like, this screams Harris Vintage, I'm like, this stranger in Idaho knows me better than my own family. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's great. I love Instagram.
Well, and out of all the things that you do, so
Yeah.
with Harris Vintage, you're also like a curator.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
do the
man.
graphic
Mhm.
design.
Some
What
beautiful
Thank
things.
you.
what's your favorite like realm? I know you
Yeah.
probably like it all because you're
I
doing
know.
it all, but what's your
Yeah.
favorite realm to be in?
I would say styling. Like, so I've never said this out loud again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Y'all are getting all the
We're
nuggets.
bringing it out in you.
I think my dream in life would be a set designer, like
Mm.
for a movie or something.
Moonstruck.
Um,
Two?
yeah, because like, and that's the way I approach my house is like, like you're setting the
Yeah.
mood. Like, what do you want this mood
Mm.
to be? So I kind of think of my house as like a set design.
Yeah.
So, and my best friend asked me recently, not Jamie, but the other one, like, what you seem like you're doing, like exactly what you want to do, but what would you want to do, like, as your dream? Because I'm
Mhm.
doing my dream,
Yeah.
every day. And it would be that. It would be set. So styling. So that's styling. So
Yeah.
I do get
Mm.
hired to style sets and stuff like that, but it's a lot fewer far between.
Right.
Um, because people probably don't know that I do that, but I do. Like I did something for Magnolia with Katie, and it was like amazing, and
Yeah.
just felt honored that she thought that I could accomplish that, and I did.
Yeah.
But set design is like and styling because people are like, "You're an interior designer." I'm like, "No, I'm a stylist," which
Yeah.
people often don't know the difference.
Right.
Like because you could have and I've seen this like in curation, like art curation. I've seen an amazing house and I saw it yesterday. I'll show it to you after this. And I was like, this is perfect. I want to post it. But this picture, it was like a printed map of the world, that you find at like
Yeah.
World Market.
Generic.
Mhm.
In this, literally, like, this probably cost $1 million to redo this house. And you have that. I'm like, no, like, call me and I will tell you what to put there because you're taking down the design.
Yep.
Because interior designers are not stylists, they're not curators of
Right.
art. So you need to have that person come in after
Right.
because you're doing the design disservice if you're not putting in the right art or objects. Like,
Right.
and I really, really think that like there's so many things that I'm like, I want to post this, but there's something wrong. There's
And
that
I don't
piece
want to
of
show
art,
that part.
and I won't,
Yeah.
even if it's like the most perfect room I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't post it because I don't like that.
Yeah.
You have to really find out what you like.
You got some standards.
I do. I really do.
I love it.
I'm-
But then when you have clients, you have to somehow bring that out in them
Yeah.
because you can't just make the decisions for them. You have
Yeah.
to somehow get that those
Mhm.
opinions and knowledge you have them to find it in themselves.
Just got to take time to think about it and like
Mhm. Put the energy
make things
towards it.
beautiful, make your space beautiful, make your life beautiful. Like, and I'm even thinking about like a spoon that you're cooking with. Like, do you want to use a spoon that's like plastic spatula like I have at my house? Or do you want to use like a really cool ceramic one?
Yeah.
Like, I hate cooking. So now I'm thinking like, maybe if I had like a cool spatula, I would
Yeah.
enjoy it more. Because you
Right.
were talking about like putting intention into everything you
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning here from y'all too. And I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
I really appreciate that. Well, we really appreciate you
Oh, I'm
talking
sorry I
to
like
us.
rambled and didn't make sense, but
You made perfect sense.
okay. Good.
Okay, so you're in Dallas.
Yeah.
I
Your
wanted
whole
to-
family's here.
hmm
And do you see
Both
yourself
sides.
being here for like
No.
'cause
I'm going to be, but
Yeah.
no, I want to live in like Italy or
Yeah.
I really want to live in Italy or like Italy.
I want to live in like Italy or
Like I look at real estate
Italy.
in Italy, like, like little apartments in random Italian
Yeah.
towns. That is some good inspo. You'll have to go do that because it's like these Italian grannies and they have the best like
Yes.
tile in the world. And that's like you can buy it for like $180,000. And like
Mhm.
here, you
That's
can't
right.
buy a house for $180,000. You can buy like a storage unit
Trash.
for $180,000. But yeah, I would like to
Truly.
live in like a small Italian like coastal town. Not gonna
Same.
happen. I have 2 kids and like my whole family lives here and a husband with a job here. But if you want to hire me to work in Italy, I'm here. I'm available.
I'm here
I
for
can work
hire.
remote, but no, I don't see myself. I wish I'd lived somewhere else like before my life started.
Yeah.
So if you're a young lady out there, go where you want to go now because you can't go once you have kids
Oh,
and a
It's not
job.
that's not
True.
true.
You can.
It's just harder.
Yeah, if you find and nowadays it's different because everyone's remote, not
Right.
everyone. So
And you're making a beautiful life here in Dallas.
yeah, and Dallas is cool, man. Like the history that we were talking about before, like if you again take the time to learn, Dallas is super cool. Like it was wrecked by like a highway, but things are coming back and like
Yep.
things are beautiful if you find the time to look for them. Like there's just lots of cool history and architecture in Dallas, and like everyone cool's from Dallas, Texas. I have a
Texas.
huge list that I've been curating for like the past 5 years. It's like a spreadsheet of famous people that have lived in or were born in Dallas or surrounding
You're
it,
gonna have to share that.
Oh my
or
goodness.
Texas, really. It is unbelievable. Like just off the
Really?
top of my head, like current people like Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
Megan Thee Stallion, like what's his name, Post Malone,
Mm-hmm.
the Jonas Brothers lived on Keist.
Yep.
Ray Charles lived down the street in Oak Cliff. Bonnie and Clyde died here, lived here, went to school here. Like
Jimmy Ray
freaking
Vaughan and
yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan, like
Stevie.
down the street. There's so many. It's like insane. Just and I love it because and like Roy Orbison, Buddy Holly. It's like Texas has something
Texas
really going
has
on.
something.
Beyonce, for God's sake, like the
Hello.
most amazing person in the world.
Thanks, Houston, for giving us Beyonce.
Unfortunately, like Oprah's not from Texas, but
Yep.
she could have
should
lived
have
here at one
been.
point.
Yep.
Like this is what we need to find out. Like
I know.
because like you'll think of someone and you're like, did they live here? Like Selena Gomez used to live here.
Yeah.
Demi Lovato. I mean, I'm not fans of any of these people, but like they're fucking really famous.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
That's a
The
big one.
the Wilson brothers, Luke and Owen.
Yeah. They still hang
Yep,
out in
they
Oak Cliff
do.
sometimes.
It's just I'm obsessed with like all these famous people from Texas. That's not why you have me on the podcast,
No,
but
but
I'm,
It's
it's
actually
really-
this new segment
I'm happy to
called
come back and
Who's
talk
from
about it.
Texas?
Yeah, and I like
Who's not from
gathered a
Texas?
list because I get obsessed with stuff, obviously, and I just think Texas is so cool, and Dallas
is.
as well. So yes, I am staying in Dallas. I encourage everyone to move to Oak Cliff because it's the best. I miss it every day.
It's a great
Aw.
spot.
I was happy to come back today. I was
Yay.
like, yes, like I got to go back to my old stomping grounds.
Well,
And there's
we
tons of
all
thrift
did.
stores around here. I don't know if you ever
Yes.
go.
Oh,
I can see one
Those
from
are
this
hit
window.
and miss, but there's like 50 on this street.
yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
There's some goodies
Yeah, there's one right there. I've never been to that one. Maybe I'll hit it up.
on your way out.
Yeah, like I definitely probably will. Actually, is Lucky Dog still open?
it is.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's another one that I was like so worried about.
With the pandemic.
Yeah,
know.
and they're always like we're struggling, so I would always go bring my kids there and like just buy.
Mm-hmm.
Books are also key if you're trying to like become a better person. Like buy a bunch of books and
Read 'em.
read them. And that's
Don't
why
just
I like
buy 'em.
like
Read 'em.
coffee table books. People just think they're like pictures,
No.
but if you read them, and not everyone has time to like read a full novel, get a coffee table book and like read, and you'll find out like lots of interior info that like magazines too. People just like look at the pictures, like read the article because often the interior design, like y'all read the book, Beata's book, like
Everyone
Good
should
for you.
sing. So good.
yeah, like if you read the articles in the magazines, like there's a lot of information. Like
Yeah.
they are giving
Mhm.
out free information to
Yep.
people. So like just slow down and read and be yourself.
Slow down. You're doing fine. Sorry, I was just singing that song. Well, thank
Beautiful
you,
voice.
Kaitlyn
Thank
Coffee.
you. I hope I answered all your questions.
You were wonderful. And we need to
Thanks.
have you back on with your best friend.
I know.
And we'll do a best friend episode.
Oh my
do like
gosh,
the
we just
newlywed
cry the whole
game,
time.
Yeah, we'll just do a trivia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll win.
Oh,
Oh my God. What if we did a best friend trivia
Yeah.
and see which best friend couple wins?
that's like newlyweds.
Newlyweds.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but
Okay,
we will win.
No, we'll win.
And the winner, the
No.
winner gets your house.
Yeah. I'll find a new one.
Okay,
somewhere.
Nate?
Yeah, is that cool?
Start Googling.
But yeah, I really want to do that.
Okay.
We'll definitely win.
It's high stakes, but if you're in,
Yeah, like oh my gosh. What would the questions be like though? Like
No, you can't. We can't.
Okay.
We're not going to tell you.
how old were you when you got your ears pierced?
Oh shit.
She pierced my ears. So
Oh, there you go.
Trick
That's a good one.
question.
trick question.
What a great conversation with Kaitlyn.
I know. I'm proud of her.
Me too. I really like her. So that was our first time meeting her, was at the interview. She was gracious enough to accept our invitation to come on the podcast. We were super excited to meet her. She was lovely,
I know.
divine.
and
and
really just an authentic
insightful.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait for that D home thing to come out because I want to know all of her
I know.
spots.
I got to know her spots.
her spots.
Her
She really
spots.
showed her true spots.
So if you want to follow her, she is at Harris Vintage on Instagram. That's kind of a good hub, but she has a website. She does
Yep.
beautiful graphic design work and curating and styling.
She's not an interior designer.
No, no.
She's a
Stylist. And if you want to see her on the video of this podcast episode, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
watch us, our beautiful faces, at YouTube. And you can just search us for Dear Friend, Podcast, and we'll pop right up for you.
And of course, we'll be posting everything about this episode on our Instagram at dearfriend.podcast.
And of course, we are here again recording at the beautiful Fernware Studio with Will Flato engineering and recording us. If you want to follow along with them, you can find them at Instagram at Fernware.
And the music that you hear at the beginning and end of our episodes
It's
is
ours.
actually, it's from our band, Sister. And if you want to hear anything about that or see anything, you can go to our hub at sistertheband.com.
We got a lot of stuff we got to tip the hat to at the end. Cheese and
We're
crackers.
doing a lot. And cheese and crackers are two things we support.
Y'all have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Live pretty.